Everyone, a warm welcome to the Ball and Chain. It's Sunday, the 7th of September. In this episode, we will be reviewing England's, let's call it, performance against Andorra in their win or lacklustre win yesterday. And we'll also review the weekend's activity of the crypto market, ready for a new trading week next week. Grab a drink, sit back, relax, and let's get on with the show. Everyone, before we get started, just wanted to interrupt the show to quickly let you know that all the information shared in this video and any video we show is for education and entertainment purposes only. If you need financial advice, please speak to a financial advisor. Okay, that's it. Like and subscribe, click that bell button so you never miss a beat, and enjoy the rest of the show. Okay, we've got to do it. I don't think anybody wants to, but we've got to do it. Let's talk about England's performance yesterday. So, the positives. 2-0 win. Jordan Pickford could have ate his lunch while the game was going on. He had very little to do, even sometimes coming near the halfway line to get involved in play. That tells you a lot about the game. Andorra offered very little. They came forward a couple of times. Every shot they had just seemed to fly into the high stands or into the roof of the crowd, which was about 40,000 at Villa Park. Unfortunately, not much atmosphere. I don't think, to be honest, though, the England team gave the fans much to cheer about. So a 2-0 win, very little offered by Andorra, really. Blocked behind, mainly in their half. It was mainly played in the Andorran half. And England started pretty well. Rashford with a beautiful bit of skill in the first 2 or 3 minutes. Nutmegged and then took it round, but the end product wasn't there. And that was probably it from Rashford, apart from getting offside a couple of times. Madueke looked dangerous on the right, always looked threatening. But again with England, I don't know. Let's carry on with the positives, then we'll come back to the other stuff. So top of the group, won every game, on paper, job done. And I went through a few of the forums. I went and looked on a bit of the stuff that's on Instagram and around social media, and it was a mix from the England fans. You got some England fans who were 2-0 win, what more do you want? We've won, we've got the points, it's there. And there is something to be said for that. You know, we could have ended up drawing 0-0 and not been able to penetrate at all. We did at least score 2-1, albeit being an own goal. And then you've got to ask yourself, well, there's the other side who were like, yes, but it's Andorra, guys, and we should be smashing teams like that. We should be playing them off the park, which we did. But in the final third, we just looked like we were... I don't know whether it's arrogance. I don't know whether it's expected to win. And it would just seem easy. But I really, really, at times, didn't like the tippy-tappy around the box. It wasn't fast enough. It just felt like we're England. We're going to score a hatful when we feel like it. And we'll just do what we want. I don't know if it just seems like a bit of arrogance. You know, we've got such a talented squad, and they're all told they're talented. Media build them up and then knock them down all the time. And my concern with England, as always, is that it's just not good enough. And I'm being really harsh, but you know, and I know Tuchel's got any problem. I wouldn't want to be the England manager. I said that on when I did my last video. I wouldn't want to be the England manager, but Tuchel is. He comes with a good track record, and yes, we got the win. We kept a clean sheet and we scored 2, and we maintained our record. But I tell you what, against a decent team, we might play differently. They might come out, we might have gaps behind, we won't have blocks behind the ball, they'll come at us. So Serbia will be a different test. It's not going to be a France or a Netherlands or a Germany or a Spain test, but it's going to be a sterner test than Andorra. And I am really interested to see how we play against Serbia. Are we going to... I suspect, you know, I think it'll... I don't know. Is it going to be a draw or a win? I'm not sure with the way we're playing at the moment. And what selection... I thought it was really interesting he played Rashford on the left. I've read a rumour today that Barcelona are going to send him back to Manchester United because his start's been that poor and his attitude's been that poor. Interesting that Tuchel's picked him ahead of other players who could have played, you know, for example, Foden and Grealish weren't in the team. Now, I know Grealish got a late move to Everton, and he might have already had his heart set on his team, too sure. But I do think he needs to look at whether Rashford has got the we know we've got a player there. We know he's incredibly talented. But can he do it for England? I don't know. His confidence is smashed, and he needs a good season before I think we should consider him for England. Madueke's playing well, no problem there. I thought Reece James, great cross for the Declan Rice goal. And again, crosses coming in. I think it was from that right hand side of it, or it might have been a corner. From that for that first goal, which was an own goal, Kane was just behind the defender who nodded it in, unfortunately, into his own net. So yeah, a 2-0 win, but I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Is it arrogance? Is it just cluelessness? We don't know how to penetrate teams like that when they just block back. But the performances against Andorra under Southgate, we got 4 or 5-0. Now, I'm not saying for 1 minute that Southgate was a better manager and the performance was better in those games. I'm just saying, on paper, you look at the results, far different. Twice the goal scored, at least. We just, I don't know. Kane could have scored in the first few minutes when he slid in that perfect ball, which was, in that golden corridor right between the keeper and the back line. It went through there. I think it was Eze missed it, and then Kane missed it, and Kane was the closest. So it was really unfortunate. That probably would have changed things, I think, if that goal would have gone in, but it didn't. And we had so many chances. I think the possession was like 70%, 30. It was really, really conclusive. And I don't think we capitalised on that possession. I think building up to that final third, we were fine. I thought Elliot Anderson had a fantastic game. He looked really good, like he'd been playing there all his life for England. It's been great for Forest or Newcastle if you're Lee Dixon. And I thought they'd had a great game. He played very well, Elliot Anderson. Rice, always, solid. I think they give a good base for the team to build on. But I do think they're kind of similar players maybe, but you're missing that attacking threat from a Bellingham who will drive forward. Again, though, it's that attitude and arrogance, and you've got to ask that question about certain players in the England team. If they think they're just amazing, they come on the pitch and they just have to touch the ball and the fans will go crazy. And they weren't yesterday. And I think the England team were a little bit shocked. They expected the fans to be going crazy, and they weren't. I thought Eze was okay. I don't think he had 3 shots on target. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of felt something was missing yesterday, and I hope that something clicks at some point soon. Because if it doesn't, it's going to be another build it up, knock it down World Cup campaign. We'll get to World Cup, I'm pretty sure. I'm 99.9% certain we'll get to World Cup. But if we're playing like that, and we're not finding that creativity and that bit of magic and that pace and quick movement of the ball, I think it's going to be another exciting but tortuous summer as an England fan. But I hope I'm wrong. Let's see what happens. There's plenty more games to play, plenty more players to come back into the squad. It'd be interesting to see what you guys think about Kane. I'm mixed. He's smashing it for Bayern, but we just don't see that for England. But then again, were the balls going in the box every 5 minutes? No. Were we breaking the lines and getting behind them? No, because they were so far back, they were practically sat on their goal line. So I've got a lot of, I'm trying to be balanced here. It's a tough game, a tough team to break down. We got the points, we got the win. Stick to the positives. On to Serbia Tuesday. It'll be a different game, and all I ask for is it's entertaining and the team give it all. I think they did yesterday, so you can't ask any more. I just want the results to come now and the real goals to come in and to see an exciting England team, which we know we've got. So let's hope for that. In other news, in League One, good win for Huddersfield. They went 1 goal down against Peterborough, but came back and won. And another great derby game by the looks of it between and quite a heated one between Bradford and Doncaster, with Doncaster beating Bradford. So interesting there, and Stockport losing to Plymouth now under Cleverley. Seems they've turned a corner. Could they be shooting back up that table now? So just picking out some selected ones from League One. And yeah, back to the Championship again on Saturday. So looking forward, or maybe not on Friday, to the game that Sheffield United have got away at Ipswich. But Yep, nearly back to a full fixture list. We've got just another week of the international break, and then we're semi-back with the Championship, League 1 and 2, and the week after we're back with the Premiership. So not long to wait until we get back to proper domestic football. Okay, that's my update for today. There'll be another one after the England match on Tuesday. Have a good one, and we'll focus on the crypto next. Thanks, guys. All right, let's make a start on the crypto update. A mixed weekend this weekend. We've seen some coins performing really well, which we'll have a look at when we go to the crypto bubbles. But largely for Bitcoin, great to see it up in the last 7 days, over 110,000. That's a key level. So staying above there protects us. I think the next leg down is 107 or 117. So it's quite interesting. We're in that mid ground, but the last 7 days for Bitcoin has looked good. Even though we're having a lot of whales, the on-chain data is telling us a lot of whales are dumping both Bitcoin and Ethereum. Could we? I can't believe I'm saying this, and I find it incredibly surprising, but a lot of people are calling Bitcoin and Ethereum have topped. Bitcoin did obviously reach its all-time high of 124 this cycle. Is that it? Are we at the cycle top for Bitcoin? Ethereum hit an all-time high in August. Not much more than the previous. I think it was about $100 over. So now, where do we find ourselves with Ethereum? Are we going to top 5k? Are we going to see that go up? Or are we not? So, interesting signs. Also, a lot of data coming out of XRP saying that might have bottomed and we're going to see a reversal and that going up. In the last 24 hours, we've seen it go up 2.6%, which is really positive. Could that be one to keep an eye on this week? Could that be going up? Let's scroll down, have a look at some selected coins in the top. Well, let's start with 10. Doge making good ground in the last 24 hours, down in the last, but 3.6 move. Solana 1%, so not massive for Solana. Let's go down. Chainlink's been a good performer, but that's actually down at the moment. Is that a buy the dip opportunity, or have we seen that top? Interesting. Sui, again, Sui's performed really well. Down at the moment, but up on last week to $3.39. Stellar is usually linked with XRP. The two of them usually coincide when it comes to movement. So not as good a movement as XRP, but we are seeing positive trajectory, 1.3% rise in the last 24 hours. And over the last hour, we have had a bit of a pullback, which sometimes happens. It regularly happens actually in crypto, doesn't it? We're seeing a big drop for Crow. I think that topped at 33 cents, back down to 25 now. Be interesting to see what happens. Did we see the top for Crow this cycle, or are we going to see more movement? Is it just retracing back down, which coins do, and are we going to see it ramp up again? Is that something? Is it a buy the dip opportunity for Crow at the moment? Let's keep going down. What else we got? What else? World Weighted Finance has been all over the news, hasn't it? Again, it seems to be up there with Justin Sun having his wallet frozen, which has been very, very, very controversial over fears of him dumping his tokens. He's come on Twitter and said that he's not, but still hasn't stopped World Limited Finance actually freezing his wallet so that he can't move any. There was also stuff about token unlocks and loads of mishaps, let's call it, and dumps. It went down, I think, on Saturday to about 18 cents. It's now rallied about 24% then. It went down to about 18 cents. I think it was Friday evening for me in UK. It then rallied on Saturday about 24%. It's now gone down a little bit, but we're seeing what it was nearly at launch, which was, I think it was about 24 cents. So nearly there. But again, it's pulled back a little bit after it rallied hard over the last 24 hours. DOT has gone up. So DOT's had a really positive move up to 4%. Finally, it's woken up, or it's waking up. So it crossed over $4. It's just dropped just below that now. Be interesting to see how that goes, because again, DOT really woke up, and a lot of people were saying DOT is dead. Is it rising from the ashes and coming back from the dead? Aave been a very strong performer, but down under $300 this week. Is that coinciding with Ethereum's dip. Are we going to see that go back up, or again, or has Aave topped? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. All the coins that I'm talking about, please let me know your thoughts, what you're seeing, what your predictions are, as we move closer to that Fed meeting on the 17th, 18th of September this month. Aptos, been mixed, hasn't it? It really had a rise earlier in the year, but it's struggling. Is that going to perform well in this bull market? Who knows? As we come to a close and the closing stages, I think, of this bull market, or are we hitting a super cycle and it's going to go into next year? It's mixed up. Most people are saying we're going to top out October, November, December best, and then we're going to hit money challenges in 2026, and that's largely the narrative that's been spun by quite a lot of I don't know, crypto influencers, do we call them, or people who are reporting on the markets and the trends and all the data that we're seeing. How's that going to go? Ondo, I think that's bottomed. I actually think we're due. Ondo is due to rise. I'm sure we've seen some positive movement on the price charts there. It's been consolidating for such a long time. I'm pretty sure Ondo's going to pop at some point as well. It's rated very highly. Some really big institutions involved with Ondo. I just waiting for that to pop. But the movement in the price has been very stable between $1.90. It's held like a bit like a stable coin, really. Interested to see. I'm hoping it tops $3 this cycle at least, maybe even $5. But we'll see how that goes. It's looked very interesting on the price charts, that one though. Ondo and Sui at the moment are looking primed for an upside. Don't know when that's going to be, but I expect Ondo and Sui to perform pretty well as in the latter states of this bull market as we draw to a close. Story has been on a mountainous journey. Look at that chart. If we just look there, the last 7 days, it's been up, it's been down, but largely it is green. And we're up 4.5% over the week, and it has been on a monster rally and doing very well. That's like digital IP on chain. So it's quite a unique and interesting value proposition. It's a very new coin. I can see that obviously being a big player. It's been potentially big in this bull market. Its trajectory has been really positive. Will we see that be the one to really gather momentum during this latter stages of this bull cycle? WorldCoin, look at that, up 15% in the last 7 days, down 2% now. Retraced a little bit, but look at that. That is what you want to see, isn't it? When if you're holding WorldCoin or you've had your eyes scanned by them, that's interesting. Just picking out anything that we're seeing that looks particularly interesting. Look at pump.fun. Wow, that is really, look at that for a chart. That is nice, isn't it? That would have been a good one to get into. Memes, everybody's gone mental for memes, haven't they? This bull market, it's been one of the narratives of it. That and AI, have they had the day? It doesn't look like it from pump.fun. It looks like that is rocking and moving as we go. Filecoin making a recovery, but a long way to go. It is so far behind its all-time high. That is going to have to pull off quite the miracle to get anywhere near that. FET again, up 4% in the last 24 hours, which is good to see. But again, that got to $3. I think it was $3, or was it $4 at its peak? Are we ever going to see that again, or is FET, there's the AI narrative gone, and are we moving on to other things? Is that going to perform this bull market? Let me know what you think in the comments. It's a green this week, so we'll see how that goes. I'm just looking to see if we've got any other big movers. Form seems to have moved well. And then we've got Tether Gold, which obviously is backed to gold, so that's going to be doing well because gold hit all-time highs last week. That's the top 100. Just a quick review there. Let's have a look at crypto bubbles and see what's popping. So I'll put it on the daily for the moment. And as we've reported, Wild and World Limited Finance have been the big winners. With ZEC this weekend, we'll go to the hour and we can see Pump is doing well in the last hour. Not many doing well. We had a bit of a pullback in the last hour, so very interesting. Let's go to Fear and Greed. Today is fear, so we've got 44% despite 44, despite seeing some positive movement. There is fear sentiment, and I think, well, we'll come on to some of the news as we progress this update. But yeah, 44 in fear. doesn't set a good precedent for next week, does it? We'll see how that plays out as we get into tomorrow and as we track through the week. Altcoin season, well, yeah, down a little bit. Yesterday it went down. I think last time I reported it was about 55. So really big jump up to 65. I think that's the highest since I've been reported. I think one of the previous videos we had it at 63. Now it's at 65. So we are. It looks, the data is telling us we're getting closer to alt season, which I think we're expecting. We're only 10 off alts being actually classified as to alt season. But we'll see how the next couple of weeks goes and the close of September. Moving into that, October. So we've got Rectember and we've got October. So, we know notoriously difficult month, September. October, traditionally green, and so to November. So it's going to be, that Q4 period is incredibly important as we close out this Q3 now. So let's see where that takes up. We've got the jobs information on Friday or Thursday and Friday. We got data points coming through, and it's interesting, isn't it? So dollar drops, signs of slowing economy. Again, the rate cut expectations keep going up now. So I think it's quality class now at about a 99% chance the pricing in of a 25 basis points cut at the FOMC season session in mid-September, 17th and 18th. It's a real key date. You need to watch out for that. We need to be watching the charts between now and then because it's going to be volatile. It's choppy waters at the moment. If that is 25 basis points, it's exactly as predicted. If it's 50, we are going to see the board light up. It is going to be insane, and that will kick off. I think all bets are off then. I think, we're saying it's the end of the bull market, no chance. Everyone will pile into risk on assets, and it will be a massive surprise. I think the percentage for rate cuts, rate cuts, is 11% for it to be 50 basis points. The 99%, I think the market is pricing in for a 25. So here's how it goes down. We don't have a rate cut. The markets are going to tank. Like, you are going to have an amazing buy the dip opportunity, let's call it that, and be positive. If we get 50, if we get 25, I think we'll continue to positively see momentum because that shifts then, and I think there will be a lot of attention paid to Powell and his speeches and any metrics that come out, because if we get 25, it signals quantitative easing, and obviously we've been in a tightened environment for many months. If we get easing, then we start to see more money flowing into risk on assets. It's good for crypto, it's good for stocks, even though the stocks market has been hitting all-time highs, same as gold. Really interesting. So Bitcoin's time, I think crypto's time will come. We're just a little bit later with crypto, but we'll see it happen. It just depends what happens. So the dollar's weakening, jobs are down, so like more unemployment's increased in America, which obviously again shows a weakening economy, which will push inflation's going up. It's going to be really interesting. I think Powell will have to take action, but there is concerns, real concerns. 2026 is going to, I don't know, recession might be a little bit strong, but there is real concerns around the economy. Powell's got to do something. To be fair to Powell, we've teetered, but he's managed it pretty well. Despite what Trump's saying, but we know Trump's drivers between it, but why he's saying what he's saying and for the reasons he's saying what he's saying. It's going to be really interesting to see how the next couple of weeks pan out. So I'm just going to flash back here and give you a bit of an update. So that's the view on the screen, the way we do our first part, which is showing the screen, and we'll move on to the next part, which focuses just on the fundamentals and a bit of dialogue around what's happening this week and what we've seen. So we'll recap shortly in the next part of this video. Let's, in the second part, just go through some analysis that we've put together over the last 24 hours. The RSI for Bitcoin is at 48, which is neutral, which is what we expect really at the weekend. It's in line with how the last few weekends have been, which means it's consolidating. We're not overbought, we're not undersold. It's just riding through and riding the wave quite neutrally. Volumes down at the weekend. We always say that because of ETFs smashing in. During the working week, we don't see that much in that trading volume over the weekend because it's just retail, not institutional. So the outlook's neutral with a potential downside to 107. if support breaks. If we stay above 110, it's good, but we're expecting long-term hold to remain strong due to the macro tailwinds, as we've just discussed, with the potential for a rate cut. ETH, again, as long as it stays where it is, and as long as we don't drop below 4K, we're all right. The higher band is 4,300. We're nearly there with Ethereum. It's very close to it, so we could see that going. RSI is 55, so it's leaning towards bullish, but not too overextended. We're down in the last 24 hours, but again, that's sluggish conditions. It's the weekend, same as Bitcoin. And again, we're looking, okay, if momentum continues for Ethereum, we are going to get to that 5K point. If we break 5K, we could see it, go into new price discovery, which would be fantastic and really exciting. Whether you're an ETH holder or not, we want to see some of these big players doing well and smashing through, and ETH is a Goliath. So let's see if it can get above 5K, and let's see where it gets to this market. So very similar, doing all right, 45, so it's a slight bearish divergence, but we're expecting a breakout. We're expecting bullish continuation to happen, but it's neutral at the moment. XRP, now we've got the regulatory clarity around it and institutional interest. This could be one to watch. I know, I've seen some, I know the XRP army is like militant, so I've got to be careful. I don't want to upset them because they are a passionate bunch, to say the least. But we've had some really ridiculous price quotes, like 10 grand for an XRP token. I mean, I wish it was there. I've got some XRP, not a lot, but I have some XRP. I've got some exposure there. So if it goes to 10k coin, that'll be awesome. But I think I'll be cashing out way before it gets there, to be honest. So I've had 500. I don't think it's going to get there. Look, I think if it gets to $5, if it gets to $7.50, I think it's done phenomenal from where it was this time last year. So just proceed with caution. It's done very well to get to where it is at nearly $3. I think if we can get beyond 3, it looks good, and that's the break. It's a psychological barrier, bullish long term, but I think we've got a short term bound unless it breaks that $3. Crow, we're talking about that again. It's backed by the treasury strategy and ETF inclusion. It's got strong institutional momentum. However, it has hit a bit of a downsurge. It surged 30% after that news. Indicates strong interest. However, it has reset and it's dropped now. But the long term is quite bullish, so it could be a buy the dip opportunity, but not financial advice. We talked about the fear and greed index. We talked that that's in fear at the moment, which is quite interesting. We've had a very strong 24 hours, like we said, for World Liberty Finance. So looking at the market and macro conditions, again, Bitcoin drives the market, doesn't it? It's the daddy. It's the sort of shining light, if you will, for the rest of crypto. And again, watching that support level of 110 is really, really important. And watching it drive hopefully above there and keeping its head above water, let's call it. 110 is that water, and it'd be interesting to see how that goes. So political news. A US Senate Banking Committee draft proposes excluding crypto staking, airdrops, and deepins from securities laws, potentially boosting altcoin adoption. However, regulatory uncertainty persists, which could cap the upside. But that is very positive. And let's hope we see that positivity not just hitting the US, but also globally adopting and seeing this. So if the US starts, my hope is that other countries may start to follow, but we'll see. Federal Reserve, we've got the FOMC meeting mid-September. All eyes are on that. Macro conditions, so global risk on appetite is rising due to anticipated rate cuts, supporting crypto prices. But we know that, it's anticipated. Everyone's excited about it. But nobody's chucking the money into crypto or low en masse at the moment, because we see September historically sees liquidity crunches and stock rebalancing, which could pressure prices. And we've seen that this month, haven't we, already today? We know September. I don't know if it's psychological because everyone keeps calling it Rectember. Is that just everyone's so scared to do anything, and that's why we're not seeing it? And everyone says October's bullish, so everyone thinks, oh, we'll invest in October because it's bullish. And it's a psychological thing where everyone keeps talking about it, so you think it. Is that what's happening? which would be absolutely crazy, wouldn't it? But stranger things have happened. So major news for this week. So we've got to monitor the FOMC and see what happens. The FOMC meeting that's happening on the 17th, 18th to get that confirmation if there is going to be a rate cut. We've got to keep watching the regulatory developments as the Senate draft could gain traction for the airdrops and such. That would be extremely bullish for crypto. And we need to keep an eye out for Bitcoin support at $110,200. So we need to keep an eye on that price. We've got a grand up on that at the moment. We're at 111,216, so we've got a little bit of a buffer, but that can soon come and go. So we've just got to keep an eye on that key zone and where that goes. If we break down, we could correct down to 107. However, if we bounce, we could go up to 117. I talked about that earlier, didn't I? Kronos again is looking like a good play. I think we've picked that out because of the strong fundamentals and its recent dip. It could be an opportunity to buy, but again, no financial advice. Okay, that's the end of our crypto update and indeed the end of the show. Please remember, if you've enjoyed this video, to like, and if you wouldn't mind, and to make sure you see every single video that we produce, please click that subscribe, and while you're down there, why not just smash that bell, get the alerts on, and when we put more videos out, you'll be the first to know and first to see it. Okay, have a great whatever's left of your weekend, and I will catch you again next week. See ya.